Liverpool 5, West Ham 1. Job well done, eventually. Although it wasn't easy for a long time today. In the end, we ran away with it. But the scoreline in the end flatters us. Let's be honest, it does. But it's our second 5-1 win against West Ham in the Carabao Cup in 2 seasons. Beat them 5-1 last season. So, and in the end, you can't argue with a 5-1 scoreline, can you? So, goals from 2 from Jota, who was magnificent. I'll talk about him in a bit. 2 from Gakpo and 1 from the amazing Mo Salah. The other goal was scored by us as well, but unfortunately it was Gerald Kwanzaa. Not his fault. Nothing he could do about it. Endo hit him against him and it went in. For the first half, the starting 11 was pretty much, it was what I expected. It's 10 players who have been on the fringes of the team most of the season so far, plus Jota. And it's what I was hoping for, to be honest. Get all these lads minutes. When you put a team together like that, with a lot of players who have not played too many minutes, you're not really going to gel that well. And the first half was a case of that. There was a lot of possession. The passing wasn't too inventive. The passing wasn't too crisp, and it was too often taking, I think, the easy way out with sideways passing and not taking any chances with it. The cohesion of the team, because it was a new 11, just wasn't there. And although the passing was accurate, it was quite slow and ponderous, and it was allowing West Ham to get back in shape very, very easily, and occasionally hit us on the break. And in the end, they got the reward. They had 1 goal that was disallowed for offside. It was offside, but it came from a mistake which ended up as a break, and we almost fell behind again, but thankfully we didn't. But then, of course, we had some we had a couple of these in the game, but some really calamitous defending, and it was like boots flying everywhere trying to clear the ball. And this time Endo slashed at it, it bobbled in off Kwanzaa, and we're 1-0 down. You couldn't really see at that point where we were going to get an equaliser from, because we hadn't really created that much. But we did have Diogo Jota on the field, who was head and shoulders above everybody else on the field in that first half. He was superb. He was involved in the goal. He was involved in the build up to the goal. The ball ended up coming to Chiesa, who tried a speculative bicycle volley, which bounced off the floor, and the first to react, as he almost always is, was Jota, and we end the half 1-1, which was pretty much fair, to be honest. So we come out second half, no changes, which is fine, because I think the manager's given that 11 the chance to gel a little bit more. And to be honest, they did start off with more intent. And we were creating a little bit more, and then a lovely run from Curtis Jones, who I must say almost lost the ball, but he didn't. And then he slalomed his way down the pitch, and he ended up with a really, really clever pass into Jota, and he side-footed home like he always does, and we're 2-1. So then you think, okay, now we're on top. Now we're going to go for it. Well, it didn't quite work out like that either, because West Ham came back, and from the second goal onwards until about the 70th minute, they were pummeling us a little bit. And again, there was some Keystone Cop defending. Kelleher bailed us out a couple of times. There were more missed kicks in the box. Antonio came on, and he was bullying our centre backs. He also got the better of Conor Bradley a couple of times. So it was getting a bit precarious. But then, of course, who steps up? Mo Salah. I just don't know how more superlative you can use for Mo Salah, because he comes on, he plays a brilliant ball to Conor Bradley on the overlap. The ball inside, McAllister, it's a crisp shot, the keeper saves it, and Salah blasted into the top of the net off the keeper's arm. But it was an absolutely superb finish. That makes it 3-1. West Ham are well pissed off. Oh, I forgot to mention this, but have you ever, I don't know how many years you've watched the game, I've been watching it for about 50 odd years, and I've never seen a team complain about penalties, go after, scream for penalties like they did today. Every player, the manager screaming on the side, every fan in the stadium screaming for a penalty. If it went anywhere near an arm, if there was any challenge whatsoever, it was an absolute joke. And it was embarrassing for them, to be honest with you. So then, 3-1, they're mad, because they done all right. They could have made it 2-2. They didn't. They missed some chances. And then an absolute shithouse tackle by Alvarez on Mo Salah, which could have broken his ankle. It was a nasty yellow card. It wouldn't have been given as a red, but he'd already been booked, so off he went. And thoroughly deserved. I made up he's missing a game for that, because that was nasty. And he could have put Salah out for months with that challenge if Salah's ankle had just bent a different way. As it was, he was okay. So anyway, that was the end of it. At 3-1, they threw in the towel. Cody Gakpo, who had ran his heart out trying to make things happen, but hadn't had much joy up until that point. He ran riot at the end, showed his class. A couple of typical goals of him cutting in. One of them, the second one, he just bamboozled the defender, and yeah, he got a bit lucky with the deflection, but he scored 2 towards the end of the game. He could have scored 3, could have scored 4. They couldn't stop him. Time for shout outs. First one has to be Jota. He was man of the match. He was a joy to watch, as he always is. I personally love watching Jota play. As an ex-striker myself, to see just how clever he is, what his movement's like, and his ability to finish with one touch is a skill that very, very few players have. You notice both of his goals today, he springs up for the first one and nods it home. The second one, the ball is put through to him and it's an instant finish. He doesn't take a touch. He doesn't need to take a touch. He knows where the goal is, and he was clever, inventive. He was playing in a slightly deeper role, but he was just as good as he always was. And maybe there's options with him now in terms of what position he might play going forward, because he can play anywhere. And he was just absolutely fantastic. I saw at the end of the game he got given the man of the match, and it was thoroughly deserved. Second shout out to Mo Salah. As much as we huffed and puffed without him on the field, and this is not giving Chiesa any grief at all, because his very, very first game he got himself an assist, but he was on the fringes of the game. But as soon as Mo Salah came on, it changed. The energy changed. Our ability to create changed. His ability to find space and find the right pass and do the right thing changed. And I would suggest that in the end, the introduction of the likes of Salah and the next player I'm going to mention really changed the game in our favour. The third one is Alexis McAllister, and another one. We've got such highly technical, highly gifted, inventive players now, and in Jota and Salah and McAllister, the three I'm calling out today, they're up there with the very, very best. And he did the same again today. He found those pockets of space. He played some lovely through balls. He had one cracking shot which the keeper just about tipped onto the post, but his passing was sumptuous and he was absolutely superb. So well done, lads. Difficult for the starting 11 who've never played before. Some difficult moments through the game, but in the end, as I said at the beginning, we ran away with it. And I just saw we've just drawn Brighton away in the next round, so not the worst draw we could get, but not an easy one. We'll have to be on our game for that, but hopefully we'll get through it. So just want to finish off. So, you know, Arne Slot, 7 games played, 6 wins. We had that one blip against Forest after all the players had travelled all over the world and looked completely off it that day. But in every other game, is our goals scored. In our 7 games, it's 2-2-3, 0-3, 3-5 for a total of 18 goals in those 7 games. And against 0-0-0, 1-1-0-1. So we've only conceded 3 in those 7 games. So it's looking very, very good, and it's still early days, and there's still a lot of improvement to come. But you know, we've started the league great, we've started the Champions League great, and now we've started well in the Carabao Cup. So onwards and upwards, away we go, off to Wolves next. It's not going to be easy. They haven't won a game, but they haven't played that bad compared to some of the others down there, and they're going to be desperate for points. So anyway, I'll see you after that. You'll never walk alone. Cheers to that.